In the news this week, brace for cuts, Premier forecasts unpopular decisions to save the budget.
Also, an exclusive interview with Greens MP Lynn McLaren as she leaves Parliament.
And on Western Perspective, on the road, the controversy behind Row 8 and the Perth Freight Link.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Leung and Cassandra Elliott.
Good evening. The state's debt has reached epic proportions, with the new Premier labelling the state's debt worse than the Great Depression. He warned about the upcoming savage cuts to public services as the government has to make tough and uncompromising decisions. Nelson Liu begins our coverage.
WA's economy is grim, but now it's set to get worse than ever.
I'll be honest with you, I've been losing sleep.
WA is experiencing record levels of debt and deficit, the government revealing its books are more dire than expected.
This has been a dramatic wake-up call for me.
The state's debt has been forecast during the election to reach $41.1 billion, but is now expected to rise to $42.3 billion by 2020. The government says it's caused by falling land values and land tax, as well as WA's lesser GST share.
There are massive disparities in the system. It's costing us billions of dollars.
The public is being warned to brace for tougher decisions, including a 7% electricity price rise.
The measures that I've asked for advice from Treasury on would be the message that the whole community we look to in respect of getting us through.
Mark McGowan says the state's finances are worse than during the Great Depression, but the opposition says Labor is not equipped to fix it.
That debt is their debt. If we had won that election, which we didn't, that would not exist.
WA's first measure to fix the economy will be a loan bill in the lead up to the September budget. Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
Greens Upper House MP Lynn McLaren is preparing for the next stage of her life after losing the state election despite her popularity. During an exclusive interview with reporter Elise Simic, Ms McLaren says she has no regrets and won't rule out coming back to Parliament in 4 years.
What do you think the reasons were for you losing your seat in the Upper House this election?
Oh, well, there's lots of reasons. I think the Labor Party had a huge historic swing to it, and they scored 3 seats outright, so there wasn't a lot of preferences flow to the Greens.
Do you have any regrets from your time in the Upper House?
No, I don't think I have dwelled on any regrets. Obviously, you know, I've learned from every experience that I've had. And I've tried to, if I haven't been very effective at doing something, I've always tried to do better.
You're going to be missed by many people. Do you think that you will try and re-elect in the next, go up for re-election in the next election?
I think it's too early to say. I don't think anybody today is talking about what they're going to do 4 years from now. I do appreciate all the support that people are expressing for me, and I share their dismay and their disappointment that I'm not there for the next 4 years.
And finally, what are your hopes for the Greens party going into the future?
I think that the Greens, in doing politics differently, have a hope for the future. They present hope that we can one day be represented by a diversity of voices in Parliament and not not an old party paradigm.
Over $12 million worth of drugs have been seized by police in 3 separate raids across Perth after a joint operation by WA Police and the Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission. 18 kilograms of MDMA was found concealed in the walls of a house in Alexandra Heights, and 10 kilograms of methamphetamine was found in a car. Collectively, these drugs amount to 190,000 hits.
Methamphetamine is a scourge in our community. It creates misery for people.
The concealment of drugs could only be described as determined by these individuals, but our police officers were more determined to find these drugs and bring the offenders to court.
Police are looking for a man who's allegedly committed several robberies in Mandurah. The man stole several electrical items from the Good Guys in Greenfields before shoplifting from JB Hi-Fi. He later attempted to steal a home security system from the same store. Police alleged he threatened the staff with a box cutter when he was recognised. The offender is Caucasian and aged in his late 20s, with a slim build and tattoos down his left arm.
If they do see him out and about and he matches the description as what's in the CCTV footage, not to approach him. He's obviously armed and he has shown a propensity to brandish the weapon and threaten people.
Plans to build a wave park in Alfred Cove has been approved by the Melville City Council. While some councillors and residents are against the development, it is expected to have many benefits, including creation of new jobs. Melville CEO spoke highly of the plan, despite residents were concerned that green spaces will be lost due to the construction.
It also has a number of economic benefits. It's about 20% of the development comes back again in work, and that's about 18 million. There's 51 jobs. I think there's $5.2 million worth of money coming back into the residents through those processes.
In an act of terror in Sweden, a truck was hijacked and driven into a Stockholm department store, leaving at least 4 dead and 15 injured. The Swedish PM says everything indicates this is terrorism. A man has been arrested and claimed responsibility for the attack. The suspect is reported to be a 39-year-old father of 4 from Uzbekistan. US President Donald Trump says he's made progress in talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping and expects them to overcome many problems. The swift action of missile strikes in Syria could be interpreted as a signal of Trump's willingness to use military force, especially to defiant nuclear-armed North Korea, and by extension its ally China, as well as other countries like Iran and Russia.
And finally this week, the annual Stations of the Cross Arts exhibition is now on at Wesley Uniting Church, where 15 local artists showcase their work based on their understanding of Easter. These artists, who all come from diverse cultural and religious backgrounds, have created their artwork by exploring the universal human experience using mediums including painting, sculpture and textiles.
What I think is important about this exhibition is kind of getting people into the church and having conversations about religion and how we can meet each other in a peaceful way and talk about our similarities and differences.
And those are the top stories you need to know this week.
We have more news on our website and Facebook. Have a good week.
Good night.